making everything look sexy and chilling.
Duncan, it's nearly showtime. Can you put that down? What is that?
A really big squid.
Are you ready for drinking? Drawing? What about laughing? Well, hold on to your butts. It's the ComX Friday Night Drink and Draw. With your hosts Sizzle and Spedsy, and the man they call Quick, plus Australia's most attractive artists and creators, many of whom have books for sale at comx.shop. Hey, Sizzle? What say we start the shizzle?
Kookaburras mock you. They're not cool.
Nah, I'm down with kookaburras. Can always continue that conversation.
Oh no! Welcome to Friday Night's Drink and Draw, brought to you by ComX. We bring together artists from all around Australia to draw a picture of our special guest, and our special guest looks like she's just coming back. No,
she'll be back.
We lost her.
We've lost her for a bit. Our special guest tonight is Angie Spice, and we're drawing her character from Courier. Spedsy, introduce everyone. Quick.
Yeah. Well, before we do, I have a bit of business to take care of. Quick, Nick.
Oh,
what's your Dave Dye collection looking like, mate?
I think I'm at 8 or 9. 7 or 8.
Oh no!
Just a subtle in your face.
That stings.
Yeah. Came in this week. Gonna read it hopefully tonight after the show. You can grab your copy on Owner Indie, written by Roger Stitson and drawn by the man, Dave Dye.
I haven't got a copy yet, so you had to know that.
You can borrow mine if you need. It's really good. Yes, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Quick Nick. And the man to my other side would be the man, Sizzle. Thank you for having us. Lady Radis in the building.
Hello.
The sloppiest of tunes, it's Alex Major. The man who is not even remotely sloppy, in fact, he's dry as a dead dingo something or other, it's Nick May. Katie Hollywood, welcome back.
Woo!
Chris Pitcairn, the fox or the hound, he's just the Pitcairn man. And then, I don't know what I'm talking about. And then Time Faults, Dave Dye.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, we're here to talk to Angie Spice, whose microphone and camera, everything was working beautifully. And then the wheels fell off. So maybe we'll just vamp in the meantime. I can show you something that came in last week after the show on the buzzer, and we didn't get to show it. Dave, this was by Dan May, Lee from Dropship 15.
Yeah, that's a fantastic.
Nice work, Dano.
Thanks, Dan.
Work, Dan. So if you happen to watch the show and you want to draw a character, feel free to send it in. It doesn't have to be during the show. We'll always show it next episode or whenever. Until then, we're here to talk about Courier. Now, I don't want to pee in its pocket too much until Angie gets back. So I'll save the pee.
Where are you, Angie?
You can't see me?
No.
Can't see me.
Turn the lights on.
You sound like you're in an igloo in Antarctica doing research on the penguins or something. Can you hear me? I'm coming. It's bloody cold here. All right, what should we do in the meantime? Someone give me a thing.
Let's see some of her art. Let's see what Courier is about. Let's
Yeah.
try and diagnose.
Of course, you say that, and we haven't.
She's got a web series, and then I saw that she has a print comic. So you guys know anything about that?
Here we go.
Well, yes, I know that Courier is her print comic, and a Hobart Rhapsody, I think, might even continue the story a little bit, or it's in the same universe.
There we go. This is number 5.
Got cats on the cover, so I already got
Those are not cats, you crazy man. Those are Tasmanian tigers.
No. There's a cat on the lap, dude.
Oh, was there?
Solar scenes.
Oh, wait, Angie's back. She's in the green room.
Oh,
hey.
Timmy, hi.
Hey.
I don't know what happened there.
But, yeah, of course.
Rob didn't notice the cat on the cover of your comic, and I had to point it out to him. And then there was like a big argument over it. So thank goodness now the drama's over and Angie's back.
just to keep the drama going, you said cats plural. There's only one cat.
Yeah,
There was
but
two thylacines, however you
I
say
would
it.
have thought, well, they didn't teach this in ESL class back in the day.
Okay.
You didn't.
All right.
No, well, I didn't study. I didn't pay attention to it. I just listened to. Anyways, Angie, talk.
So can I, before we get started, can I just read you guys something? Practice a piece of your passion. It's not about the results. Go for it. Hang out with people who genuinely make you feel amazing and who want you to better yourself. This really is the beginning of a new chapter. Enjoy the journey. So that was a little something in the back of Courier #1 that I just read last night doing my research.
Oh,
and I thought,
wow. That's something I needed to hear, actually.
it's kind of
That's
apt
cute.
for this show and everything. It's So if I can just say for a minute, so I bought this a while ago, but I hadn't read it yet. It was on my pile of to reads. Read it last night, and I mean this with all sincerity. I was gripped within page 1. The whole, not going to spoil too much, but it's when is it set? A long time ago. 1916
In the war.
in like a prologue, and immediately it's got young Geraldine Barker visiting, I guess, what's left of the Tasmanian Tigers, and straight away I was hooked. And then when it brings you into the current day, I was just hooked by this one line straight away. 1940, Australia is at war once again. The Tasmanian government has assigned Ms. Geraldine Barker to courier specific packages to the remotest regions of the state. And so I was like, I'm in. And then, idiot me, I've only got the first issue. So,
Better than
Angie,
nothing.
yeah. Can you take us back and tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got into comics, when you realized you could draw or liked drawing? Just take us on a walk.
Yeah, so I didn't really grow up with comics at all. Like there was a few comics laying around, like there was Flip Flats and there was Gary Larsden, bit of this and that, bit of Tintin, but and I love reading them, but I wasn't really I never thought I wanted to make comics. I love watching animations, and I love storytelling. But it wasn't until my teacher in Year 12 said you should make comics because it's something you can do now rather than, having such a massive dream that's sort of, I guess, harder to achieve. So that's how I got hooked into it.
Who is this teacher?
Yeah, I know. I was about to say,
A
like,
media
that's very
teacher, media teacher, because I wanted to make an animation. Yeah, no, he was great. Yeah, but I didn't really like. I mainly read manga now. Manga and I mean I have a lot of comics, but I'm kind of late to the party. Really, I don't really know much about comics.
So when the teacher basically was steering you away from animation, do you still do some animation as well?
I never ended up studying it at all. I was going to go study it. But yeah, I don't know. I've always thought about it maybe later, but at the moment, nah.
Was Courier your first sequential work?
It was my first published work. So
tell us about your non-published ones. Your first ideas and first stories that you put together. The good and the bad.
I was writing stories in since I can remember, like maybe early early secondary school. I was writing stories, like kind of like just typing it up and then having a few pictures to go with it. And I was doing that. Like I'll probably write up maybe like 20-30 pages, and I'll have 10 illustrations to go with it. So I guess I was already in that mindset of creating content from an early age. And I've got thousands of pages of stories that I've created. pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got a lot of work, but now I'm kind of focusing more on like being more technical and teaching myself all the technique and all that.
Are they stuff that people would ever get to see, or you're embarrassed by them now, or?
I'm not embarrassed. I'm really proud of them. I think stuff you create as a child is really authentic. Because when you grow up, you just get too serious and you get interested in different things. So they're very precious, I think.
Mhm.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Very cool.
Get too uptight as you get older. And you're too critical of yourself, you reckon?
How
Not
would you know,
that, but
Dave? You're
also,
still young.
Yeah, I
Sure.
think you see things from a much different perspective, obviously. So,
Yeah.
I think it's very important having little things like anything from your childhood to help you see that perspective, especially if you want to try and write from a child's perspective in your comic or story you're creating later. I think it's powerful.
Yeah, it's sort of like we all kids kind of draw, and then it's, I don't know, is it beaten out of us to stop following our imagination and move on? But some of us silly ones, we keep drawing. When did you realize you could draw, or that other people don't draw anymore and you're still slaving away over a pad and pencil sort of thing?
Well, I was trying a lot, but like until like high school and then into high school, but then I actually stopped drawing for like 10 years.
Really?
So yeah. So I kind of put it to the side for so long, and then it kind of just backfired, I think. So I guess I'm one of those people that sort of did put it aside for a while.
Was there something else that filled that creative void at the
Yeah,
time?
yeah, music. Yeah, I pursued music, so I kind of took over because I was always I've always been very introverted and very withdrawn, and I felt like learning music would get me out of my shell and teach me a lot, and yeah.
Yeah, so he means don't know when he
Yeah,
says
don't know.
no.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did the typo afterwards.
Angie's
Oh, what was that?
a jazz singer, people. Do you know that?
Yeah,
She
that's what I was
sings
going to
jazz.
ask about. So your music, where did you start with music? Did you learn piano? Is that right? You play
So I
piano?
was always a vocalist, so but I got into learning jazz music, and then I went to Victorian College for the Arts,
Cool.
and that was good for a while until it wasn't so good. But then I was singing around Melbourne in jazz clubs and did a bit of corporate stuff as well.
That's cool.
And would
Yeah.
you write your own songs, or would you like do sort of jazz numbers, or?
I kind of I guess most of my repertoire was in the jazz, with the jazz standards. So that's kind of my home in music. Jazz, blues, a bit of old pop, all that stuff.
Did you do recordings at all, or just
Yeah, I
show?
recorded a few things. A lot of them are really bad, which I'm not proud of. But I recorded a few things like last year, a few originals. But at the moment, I'm so busy, I don't really have time.
Yeah.
It'll always be something that's there. You know, you can't like. I'm kind of finding now I'm getting so burnt out just doing drawing all the time, and that's my profession now. It's just like. I think I got to balance it out again.
Yeah, well, I
it's
mean,
just so taxing, right?
like I was like 100% music, and then my break from music was to draw.
Oh wow,
and now,
you're the same.
yeah, and now I feel like I'm 100% drawing, and so my break is to play guitar and write songs.
Yeah, what kind of music did you do?
Rock and roll. I don't know.
I did rap. You were in a rap band, you said.
Rap?
So
Well, I'm
if you want to freestyle a little bit,
we don't talk about
that.
No, just a
cool.
rock and roll band, like
Old school
Motor
rock and
Race,
roll.
Body Jar. No, like this would have been in like 2006. I don't know, like Foo Fighter-y sort of sound. I don't know.
Cool.
As always, the worst when people say like, describe your music, and then it's like, I don't know, guitars and drums.
Yeah, cool.
I'm waiting for the
potatoes, rock and roll.
ComX rock band to get started because we got a heap. We got We got you people here. There's Spedsy, Nick on the mouth organ, Ange with the vocals. We've got who else? We got Kayleen's a vocalist. We've got Morgan Quaid plays everything under the sun. Who else have we got? We've got half a dozen. We almost got an orchestra, I reckon.
So I got a question overall. Probably Spedsy can answer this. Who's got? Does Morgan have more guitars or Ed has more globes?
And that's all we see in the background. Imagine there could be things in the foreground as well. We don't know.
Probably has a bunch of guitars.
So, Angie, what brought you back then to drawing?
Yeah, I got really depressed. But I also I was very naive in my career. I didn't know how to be assertive with people, so I was just a people pleaser. And when you're a people pleaser as an entertainer, you burn out. So I was just laying there, and all of my childhood stories I'd written were right in front of me. I'm like, oh my God, that's the answer. So that's kind of where it started again.
That's awesome. So, and don't answer if you don't want to, but so did depression stop you from doing live shows?
No. I kept doing it, but I knew I needed something more. I think the power of creating comics is that you can direct everything and you can be in control of so much. And that's a really nice, you feel completely free.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is cool.
Nice drawing, Nick.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that was a good contrast to what I was doing at the time, because I was kind of just a bit of a slave, learning 2 songs a week, and I'm not saying it was bad, but it's good to have a balance.
I'm crying only because there's quite a parallel with me. Whereas I had a bout of depression and I stopped playing live because I couldn't turn it on anymore. But then
you mean because for me, right, if I perform, I feel really amazing, but there's a point if you perform and it's the wrong circumstance, it can drain you.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you feel worthless because you're putting on a show for someone, you're giving your soul and you put it on stage. And if you don't get that back, it's like they've taken your soul away.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can happen too. So
yeah, makes sense.
And so the control thing, for me, it was I then ran out of energy trying to organize getting. I was a band, so it was getting people into a room and all that sort of stuff. And then
so you were the band leader?
Yeah, I was the singer.
Yeah. Oh no way! Yeah, that would have been hard.
And then drawing and writing and stuff, I was in complete. I was the singer, drummer, bass player. It was all me. I didn't have to organize anybody.
Yeah, totally. You can rely on yourself. And
yeah.
And you can only be, and you're not going to be disappointed, because you've put in all this effort, and it's it's what you wanted anyway. So yeah, I think it can be a bit of a gamble and a risk, because if you put a band together, are they going to be as dedicated as you are or as passionate as you are? I think that's really hard. Even with collaborating in comics, it's it's hard, right? For it to be equal.
Yeah, it can be tricky because so it could be your project. So naturally you're the one who's 100% enthusiastic, and then I guess that works for comics too. If you're the writer and you get an artist who perhaps isn't feeling it, but is happy to do the gig. Yeah, it's tricky. But anyway, so you start drawing again. And then when do you decide to make that into sequential storytelling? And
that was always the sequential part always came before the drawing part. They're kind of hand in hand. So I wouldn't be drawing if I weren't going to be telling stories.
Okay.
So I've always had stories in my head I need to get out, and that just seems the best way.
So you're more of a storyteller than a doodler, so to speak.
I like doodling, but nowadays definitely that's the case. Like, I feel a bit stuck now. That's only because like I have, you know, my own deadline to meet now. I kind of feel like, yeah, I need to know exactly what I'm drawing before I draw it. It has to mean something to me, otherwise it's not going to be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I can just play around, but yeah, I find nowadays it's like tough on it.
So the plan was always to put a book out, or
Yeah, because I think for me, my big dreams have just been working on manga novels or like long stories. That's all I want to do. So for me, like I've got a few stories that are longer that I thought I'll release later because I've got no experience.
Okay.
So I thought I'd start with something smaller, and that's where I thought about Courier. I just thought I'd just start something.
Yeah.
Give myself a month to get it done, and I did it. So.
Was it 6 issues from the get-go, or?
No, it was just going to be number one. That was just like a little project, but then I thought, I'd actually written the first episode, and I realized only some of the episode fit into one of the comics. 24 pages. So I realized, oh my god, I kind of misinterpreted that or miscalculated that.
It kind of reads like the first 15 minutes of a movie. You know, they say like the first 15 minutes is the setup, and then like, you know, then at the end of the 15 minutes, it gives you the hook and shows you where you're going, sort of thing. So yeah, it would have been a shame to end it there because it's like you just got me, and now you that was it. Well, let's keep going.
Yeah, I think it's good to learn though how to cut the pacing down.
That is one thing I like about it too. Is you take your time with a lot of the scenes and stuff. There's nice backgrounds, and you really set the mood. Do you like drawing? Like the very first panel is this beautiful like shot of, I guess, is it Hobart?
Yeah,
I think it actually says it. Yeah, it says it. Yeah, it's this awesome like a tram and everything. Immediately gives a vibe, gives you the Do you like drawing buildings, characters?
Sometimes I like drawing buildings just because it's geometric, so there's a very definitive way to draw it that you can't. I don't know. Sometimes I find that easier, but if you have a reference, it's easier. But I usually don't draw in that much detail, but I think it's like necessary for an established shot. Yeah, and it's difficult because it's historic, so you can't find very much reference material, which is a big challenge for me. It's like you try and do fiction, like historical fiction, but it's like, where do you get all the resources from? So you got to make it up a bit. You could spend forever researching, trying to get all the right assets. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I do like that panel.
Yeah, it is awesome. So let's just pause the journey aspect of it and focus on Geraldine and Courier itself. So where did the germ of this idea come from?
Mainly came from Tasmania itself. Just how amazing the environment is there and the spirit. Yeah.
Did you live in Tasmania for a time?
No, but I grew up on King Island, which is a little bit different to the mainland of Tassie. But
right.
Yeah.
Is that like on the north part of Tasmania? There's one of those little islands.
Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah, one of those islands.
Yeah, right. I didn't even know there were islands out there.
Nice dairy cows up there.
Right. How do you find that out?
Oh, yeah, you just sort of know these things.
Just go to different fields and sample, and that was delicious.
Just go and have a look. They're beautiful. Nice big Frisians, black and white.
And then, so where does Geraldine herself come from? Where did you find her?
I used to work at an aged care home, and I met a lot of residents there, and one of them was Geraldine, and I thought that's a nice name.
Oh, cool.
I know, yeah.
Does she know
The
about
name
it?
from that. Yeah, she knew.
And then
Isn't Geraldine the actual person or the figure that you draw is sort of based on a movie star?
That's Catherine Hepburn.
Catherine Hepburn, yeah.
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 Cool.
There you go. When you're looking at the comic.
would
Yeah,
I
don't. Oh, you
would I
go.
be way off to say there's a little bit of you in there as well? In the
Probably. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean,
I
not
think.
that looks like you per se, but
Uh-huh.
Oh
there
yeah,
was
that
a,
looks like
there was an Angie vibe to some of
Yeah.
it.
That.
that looks like Ange to me.
I think it's like kind of
Hold it up
I think a
again,
lot of artists
Spedzi.
draw like, when they draw it looks like them, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like,
Well, I guess the person you see the most is yourself in the
That's
mirror.
when-
Maybe.
That's when she
Yeah, I
got
wasn't. I
asked to
didn't
go
mean
on.
it as a joke. I know that's a bit of a silly face because she's gasping, but
That was when she someone turned the cold water on when she was in the shower. You know when someone chucks water on you, you go like that. That's the face you see.
yeah.
I don't hang around
Nice
those types of people.
So, for someone who hasn't read all 6 issues, well, one thing I was stoked about because the bit that grabbed me, just obviously the vibe, but the whole Tasmanian tiger thylacine scene of it all. So I was stoked to see that the 6th issue is called the Thylacine Diaries or something like that, part 2. Yeah, so obviously that's a through line, which I'm stoked about to catch up on. I don't know, was there a fascination with Tasmanian tigers for you, or where did that come from?
I think when I was a kid, we went on a school trip and there was like a thylacine like showcase exhibition. And they had like the Mercury is like a newspaper from Tasmania, and they did a special feature on the Tasmanian tiger, and I've still got it. I think, you know, when you're a kid, like hearing about something that is so unusual, but it's extinct, but it wasn't extinct until like it was alive maybe, you know, 50 years ago. It's just fascinating to think, maybe, why isn't it still alive? Why isn't it out there? And it's a tiger. Like it's like there's a tiger that used to live here. Not that it's a tiger, but there's something really exciting about that.
Yeah.
And fascinating, and you kind of wonder why do different things go extinct? Like, yeah, it's kind of mysterious.
Tell us about Helen Strickland. Is that your mum?
Yeah.
She like says dialogue and historical advisor.
Oh yeah, that's because she grew up in Hobart, so I just wanted to ask a few questions about that.
Yeah, right.
Tasmanian girl.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I just like giving credit to people,
No, good. Yeah.
I like giving credit. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And then so just to skip all the way forward because I'm curious, I was scrolling through webtoons and Hobart Rhapsody, obviously it's Hobart again, and I saw there's 2 Geraldine chapters, so her story continues beyond the Courier books.
Yeah. I just when I create, I just follow the force or the creative instinct, and it just told me to keep creating like I don't know, I just had this story, this whole like continuation. It's really like a different story. It just came together in my head. I'm like, oh my god, this is where I've got to go. Yeah.
And so where does it pick up? Like right after issue 6, or is this like
no? It's it picks up like 5 years later, or actually 5 years after that ends, and it's a completely different story.
Oh right.
Yeah. It's kind of more there's a character called Evelyn, and it's kind of more of her story as well. Yeah, and I guess it's kind of personal as well because a lot of my own life experiences are in that as well. Yeah, so I feel funny talking about it.
Yeah.
It's really personal. Yeah.
For those of us who need to catch up, Darren Close asked this before. Is there plans to collect Courier in trade?
I've been slowly chipping away at that. But with because I update Webtoon once a week now, and that's like a few pages work, and then I've got my commissions as well that and markets that I live off. So there's very little time to get it together, but I wish I did it before I started my Webtoon actually, because I'm re-lettering the whole thing and like coloring it for a graphic novel. So it's a long process.
Awesome.
So I've got a question that's less personal, but more on the theme we're talking about, because we talked about print comics and webtoons as well. You know, like the differences. Do you have like, do you want to talk about some of the differences? Like, what are the pros and cons? Like, more how you feel about it. Like when you put something online and something when you hold physically in print. Do you have different feelings about it, or?
I really like what I really like about Webtoon is that you have the set deadline every week, and I really like that. I really love saying, you know, every week I have this many pages I need to get done, and you get an episode done a week, and I love that. And I think when you make comics, sometimes it's like too much to bite off at once, and it's a bit more work because you have to make sure everything's 100% ready for print, whereas if you do a webcomic you can correct it later. Like if you make a spelling error, you can fix it easily, but if you make a spelling error in a comic, it prints like 100 or 1,000 copies with that error. But I think comic books are a lot easier. There's a lot of competition on with webcomics. It's harder to stand out, and there's an algorithm and you've got to get that as well. So I don't know, I'm really new to this, so we'll see how it goes. But I think it's a lot easier making comics. Like at the moment, like it's an experiment.
So what about the people? Do you reach more people with the comics than webtoons? So what does you do pretty well? I think you got a couple of hundred views or likes per page.
But but with Webtoon you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, and you have to get a certain page count to get paid any ad revenue. So there's probably better web comic platforms I could use to get better deals. So I don't know. You kind of have to get like thousands and thousands of views and likes and all that to get any revenue. So for me, if I'm going to sort of see how it goes and then reevaluate maybe a year's time. Because I spend like 3 to 4 days a week on this. So we'll see what happens.
One thing we like to do on this show that's becoming a regular part of the show is to find out what Chris is having for dinner. A couple of weeks ago, he had noodles. It's like a toasted sandwich or some sort. No. Sorry, man.
It's a wrap. It took longer than I thought to make it. I'm just quietly eating away.
It was quiet, but then I saw you just quietly listening and enjoying your dinner, and I thought, I'm going to make him feel awkward. It's going to be good.
How dare you?
So Angie, just to rewind a little bit. Oh yes, here we go. See, I knew I was right. You were having noodles a couple of weeks ago. I don't think it was cup of noodles.
Oh, okay.
It's like a more extravagant dish.
No, it was. I think it was like pasta and whatnot. What was the noodles? I can't remember now.
I thought it was like a Thai sort of soupy.
Yeah,
noodle
it was Thai.
thing.
That was it. It was awesome. Thai.
Tune in next week. We'll find out what Chris is
You
called.
guys debating
On the
with
menu
Chris
with Chris Pitcairn.
Let me get somebody from the audience just to go through the old episodes and then type in.
Yeah. There's like a website that lists all the foods that Brad Pitt has eaten in movies. And I want to see a list next to it. The Chris Pitcairn drink and draw list.
I'm just gonna hide here.
Sorry, man. Now every time you go to snack on something, you're gonna think of me.
He's so insecure.
So, Angie, your first book, self-published. How did you do it? How did you know what to do? What mistakes did you make? What did you nail on the first go?
Well, like, I'd already joined the community, like, in Melbourne, so I kind of had a few people around me that I could, reference. But pretty much I just got into it, and if I had a problem, I'd ask a friend or I'd ask Google what to do, like, getting the documents ready for the printers and all that. The biggest mistake was that there was a typo on the front cover.
Oh, no.
And that was very embarrassing. And I think that happened because I gave myself a month to get it ready, but that meant that I thought like I could just create all night and all day, and it wouldn't catch up with me, but it did. So yeah, that was the learning curve. Don't stay up all night trying to get. If you have like a one-off project and you need something done, do it. But you're gonna have to recover later, and
Yeah.
It's just you're better off being looking after yourself and getting sleep, and exercising is really important as well. You can't you got to be what's the word, I don't know, economic about your health.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, otherwise it adds up and you just get depressed because you've been just sitting at your desk drawing and without sleeping.
Yeah. Nice.
Very good.
So where do you think your style, it's very unique, and you can see, I guess, the manga influence, but where do you think, where else does your style pull from? What influences are in there?
I don't know, it's hard to say, isn't it? Well, I really, I read a lot of retro manga, so, like a lot of the styles before, like around the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it was a bit more
Astro Boy,
I guess. Yeah, it's a bit different. Whereas now the style's a bit more generic. But I don't know. I used to watch a lot of Disney as well, so it's probably a bit of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
What were your favorite Disney films? Was it like Lion King 1.5 and Jungle Book?
Sorry.
Alex worked on a bunch of.
Sorry, I didn't have a good answer to that question.
You don't?
No, so Alex worked on a bunch of Disney films.
Did you?
Yeah. Straight to DVD stuff, but if you didn't like those, I agree. Did you like the little TV shows though? Did you like the 101 Dalmatians?
I love 101 Dalmatians, and it's kind of funny because one of my favorite mangaka, Akira Toriyama, who does Dragon Ball Z, he was very inspired by the art style of 101 Dalmatians.
The movie, right?
The
TV show looked different. It had like this.
Oh no, sorry, I'm talking about the film.
Movie.
So I don't know. There's a lot of I don't know. It just seems to all come full circle with my influences. Yeah.
When reading the older manga, like if I read comics from the 60s, it reads like old comics. Like it's how do you explain it? It reads a little dated. Is that the same for manga or no?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, it is. I don't know, but a lot of the manga though that I do read is like older mangaka that have made new stuff. And I have a few mangas that are they're in Japanese, so I haven't read them. like I can sort of read them very slowly, but I kind of get them more for the art style than the actual reading.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, they are a bit dated. Like they're actually a bit more condensed. They're not as yeah.
And did I hear correctly? You speak some Japanese?
Me.
Or did you just read them in
Not
English?
really. No, I can read katakana and hiragana, and I can figure out what the sound is, and then I can type in Google what does this word mean. I can read the sounds of the words.
Cool.
I kind of had some. Because I used to buy some Japanese comics, and they had like all the kanji stuff. They had the hiragana.
I can't read the kanji. No. I can read
it's like
the
4,000 characters. Like that.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yeah, but it's easy to read if you can teach yourself.
Let's do a little one of these and take a look, and just sit back.
Nice. I like the hat.
What we've been speaking about.
That's nice.
Tell us, Dave, what was your approach with this character tonight?
Well, I just want to try and capture all the aspects of Geraldine Barker. She works for the Postmaster General. She loves photography, but she's sort of a bit of a spy. She's looking for the old thylacine out in the wilds of Tasmania. She's got a lot going on. So we've got it all there. I've got a mailbag here. Tassie tiger back here. She's got a camera just here around the neck. And she likes a durry. We'll have to get her off that habit, though, but it's a thing of the 40s, I suppose.
It doesn't matter.
I've got her.
It's in the past.
That's right. You got some. Yeah. So that's all I've tried to do with her.
And Dave, while we've got you, you had a new book come out this week. I guess you haven't been able to look at it. You haven't got a copy yet.
No, that's right. The Time Fault, written by Roger Stitson. It's up for sale on. Well, we can talk about that towards the end of the.
Yeah, sure.
The evening, but yeah, it's a bit. Yeah. So actually, I'll show you what I've got a model here in front of me. I don't know if many people use these things, but I don't need it so much now. But there she is.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
I was expecting the wooden one thing, but this one's more anatomically correct.
Yeah. So I use those things every now and then when I'm trying to get a pose, get it right. So I've got a female one and a male one over here. Oops, and a bald head. Now I've got the bald head bit. There's this guy here. There's the male.
Have you got a thylacine one or no?
Eat at Joe's. I've got to put an advertising up there. Eat at Joe's restaurant. A billboard.
What about everyone else? Oh, sorry, Angie, go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I did try and buy some toy thylacine models to reference, but there were some of them were good, but some of them were just so stiff. They were.
Yeah.
I couldn't move their legs or anything, but it was
great.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah.
I think they help you a little bit to get started, and then they've always, if they're accurate, they've got the head and the proportions, and you always got to move the feet into different positions and the neck maybe, or the tail. But I think those things do help if you can get a good plastic model. I like them.
If you've got the understanding of anatomy, then you can see what's.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Tassie tiger's got, it's sort of like a dog, but it's got a weird back end a bit, hasn't it? It's sort of.
It's like a wolf, but then it has the kangaroo kind of. One of the kangaroo. More like a kangaroo sort of tail, like a marsupial tail thing happening.
Wow.
Very. I was going to ask that.
Different hips.
Do you have a couple of like Tasmanian tiger factoids that maybe some of us don't know about?
Yeah.
God. I don't know, because to be honest, like the thylacine is just a sub element to the story. It's not actually like the main element to the story. I don't know.
When
There's
did
a
it
lot
go?
of myths out there.
What year?
The
did it go?
last known one was the one that died in zoo, which was 1939. And people have like made reports of them since then, but they haven't provided any evidence. But I think people were seeing them around the 60s and 70s.
Nice one.
Awesome. How have we not cloned one by now?
They're about to, apparently. They're really close. I don't know about that though, because they've got such low genetic diversity. There's no point bringing them back because they're going to have all these problems anyway. I mean,
good point.
There's an element of it being a little bit morbid, but I always wanted them to bring it back, but now I'm like, maybe not. Now that I know more about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What about the rest of our artists? Do we want to get a little bit of a progress report and see where's everyone at?
Yeah. Who's next?
You can go if you like, Katie.
Yeah, go for your life.
Okay. I was going for more like a classical kind of.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
I love
amazing.
it. It's like nice.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
It's like,
Your lips. So
Yeah,
beautiful.
I love it.
That's a beautiful drawing.
Yeah.
it's more kind of like a classical kind of like, because I was thinking about her in the 1940s and the style, and I was kind of like had it like Edith Piaf playing.
Yeah, I love it.
Cool. And she was like in a hallway in the Art Deco. You
Yeah.
know, like, yeah, that's how I was
Oh,
feeling.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
You're welcome. Thank
All
you.
right, Nick May, show us yours. I know you know.
No, my iPad just died.
I know.
Unfortunately, as soon as Katie showed her work, everything I've ever drawn, ever. I can't believe it. It's just finished.
See what you-
Yeah, we should have ended on Katie's.
Should have finished on Katie, yeah. No, we still got Lauren to go, yeah. And Chris. Oh,
Yeah, we've got some heavy hitters on the show tonight.
Oh.
That's so good.
Oh, there you go. Quick. It said that's got some Parisian style to it. That picture of the thylacine butt.
It's Jamie Long.
I'm sure that's what he was referring to.
Yeah, of course.
Serious Parisian, not the other kind.
Well, so Angie, is there something else? You've invested a lot of story time into Geraldine. Do you have any other things bouncing around in your head that one day you are desperate to get to? Is there another Geraldine back then?
No, I've got a story that I actually worked on for a little while before Courier. That is a science fiction story that I want to work on. But other than that, I did have an idea for a mixed martial arts story.
right.
But at the moment, I've done a few little shorts. Like the short I did for your comic is mixed martial arts.
The Moose 4.
Yeah, but for me, like I love watching UFC. For me, that's like my escapism from comics and everything else I do, because I'm doing it all the time and I just want to break. But I don't know if I really enjoy doing that anymore as a comic, because it's kind of like my escapism from comics.
Yeah.
And also you'd have to, I think I was reading a manga actually called Around the Meguru, which is about mixed martial artists, and it's so technical. I'm like, wow, if I really want to draw this, I need to know how to fight. I need to know all the technical stuff that's happening.
Do you fight as well, Angie?
I've always wanted to, but I'm a bit of a wuss.
Very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Just get into it. You'd love it. Just getting the
Yeah.
technical aspects of it. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
I think when you get into the you choose a particular style, then a lot of the people I experience, it's more like chess. Not many people are aggressive.
Yeah.
It's more like you're standing there with.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like it's doing a jazz solo. Like it's like, what rhythm are you gonna throw at me? Like that's how I kind of interpret it in my head. That's what really draws me to it. It's really creative.
I think so, and I think that like a lot of the people that you fight with are like you look at each other and your mates and you're like, oh, this is cool, and then you're fighting, and it's like playing chess but with their bodies, and you're fighting to it's like I've never felt a feeling of being like aggression is within the areas. I reckon. Have you done it? Have you tried it?
I haven't yet.
Oh my god!
I know. Yeah, I should. Okay, maybe I will. You do jujitsu, yeah?
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, or?
Yeah, I do jujitsu. I did a few. I tried a few other things. But for me, a Jeet Kune Do is really good because it's a good combination. But for me, jiu-jitsu, the origins of it and the fluidity of it, and it's just a good grappling style of martial arts versus the kata of karate, where it's like karate is very formal. Aikido, it gets very formal. Jiu-jitsu, like his newer in a way that it's been appropriated within the Gracie family, and it's kind of it's a bit more approachable, and I don't know, it's less kind of like if you break kata,
it's less like trying to kill someone like with the Japanese jiu-jitsu. Yeah,
and karate and aikido and Wing Chun and all those other martial arts are it's a way of life, you know what I mean? Like it's like you start that and you can't do a Thursday class. It's like, okay, now you do Wing Chun. That's it. You're like do Wing Chun. And jiu-jitsu is more like getting in there, you have some beers, someone knocks you out, and you're like, yeah, that was awesome.
I know, but I'm built like a pigeon. Like I got really skinny arms. I'm like, I'm scared. Like I don't want to like hurt myself and not be able to draw. But yeah, you're totally right. I should give it a go.
Jiu-jitsu is really good because like it's designed for a small person, right? So like it's designed to take the body and use its angle points to lock someone in place. So like you're not using your muscles, you're using all your points of articulation. So like, and like I've never had problems. I mean, I sword fight as well. So like, and I've had more trouble with that. What?
That's cool.
Fight with you. Whatever you say, Katie, you can have whatever you want.
It's just a balance. It's a balance, like Angie was saying, we need balance because we sit draw.
Yeah.
And like sometimes you just gotta get that energy out from just sitting.
Yeah.
And it's a good balance. But Angie, really, I mean, like you sound like you love it.
I do. I really love it. I just love psychology and the strength of will that people have to have.
I love that. Angie, we should hang out because I read like martial arts manuals for like.
Oh wow!
Because I love the same thing. I like the
cool.
We should talk.
Yeah.
Next week on the show,
I follow you on Instagram. I think.
Yes, I think you do. I think so. Yeah.
I boxed at home. But that's just fun,
Angie and Katie are going to kick the crap out of each other next week on the show.
UFC college championships.
Here and draw, and they can beat each other up. It's going to be great.
Betty and Rogan will commentate.
I want to see. I know there's a martial arts out there for Angie. We're gonna find her home.
Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah, that sounds wicked. Sis, I see we've got some artwork sitting there. Do you want to?
Yep, I'll put some in there.
Little journey?
Yeah, sure. Okay, first one in was from Michelle. Let's do it twice.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love the colors.
Nice work, Michelle.
That's nice.
Michelle, you put some work into that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's beautiful.
Quickly
Very
followed
good.
up by Dan May.
Oh, good one, Dan.
Great.
The cat's awesome too.
Love the jacket.
Wow. Dan and Michelle are killing it.
Yeah, they are. They are. And Nick sent in straight after Dan.
Hey.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, that's
so cool.
Nice. I love the pants.
Yeah.
I never really draw her with pants, but they really suit the design.
That looks really good.
Glad, Nick, I'm glad you fixed your iPad because it came out good.
And she's got pink gloves, Nick. Is that a
callback? No, I thought that's going to be the theme now. Ever since I messed up Dave's character, pink gloves for everyone.
Yeah,
nice.
That's awesome.
You didn't mess it up, mate.
And if I'm getting the nickname right, this is Logan.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Hey.
Logan
Wow,
French, that
that's
is.
really good.
Nice little younger halftones.
Oh, I like the blonde. The blondes kind of look sound interesting.
Amphibia Noir now on Kickstarter for those who I think it's still running, isn't it, Sis? Amphibia Noir?
No, it finished like a week ago or something.
All right. Well, I'm sure you could pick up Amphibia Noir #1 somewhere. You'll have to Google it. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's awesome.
I'll leave it up to you to do the last one.
Oh, no, I don't like being in charge of it.
Oh, okay, okay. And the last one is Spetty.
Oh, cool.
Hey,
Everyone.
nice.
I drew
Tiger.
I don't know whether the target dude's yawning or trying to look aggressive.
I like the expression. You got that spot on.
Yeah.
And then she's looking at her hat that blew away. I tried to draw the hat. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
nice. Thank you so much. No.
Quick, you have a good way of you're obviously drawing the pigeon from before, then you see Nick's pants and you find a way to put the two jokes on
the leg.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's awesome. Chris,
Hello, Jim.
where are you at? Can we take a look?
Oh,
Oh, lovely. Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh, I love the shape language so much.
Killing it with the flowers in the background.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I saw the character. I was like, that looks like a kind of Dior fashion drawing.
Yeah, yep, totally.
So I grabbed out my Dior books and.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Awesome. You didn't drop any of your dinner on it? Looks beautiful.
No, I managed not to drop food.
What do you reckon, Lady Radis?
Just finished. I'm going to send it over now.
Sweet.
Cool.
Being very diligent. Well, we need a bit.
Draw like the wind, Alex. Like the wind.
He's changing the pants and all the frames.
Better be.
Yeah, and I didn't know that we had to do everything with red gloves, and I'm changing it all. And I'm joking out this other stuff, just coloring clothes.
Chris, what's your Instagram? I can't find it.
Mine, it's called Frozen Vapor. Frozen, then VEPAR. There is a story behind it. It's got nothing to do with the movie Frozen.
No, tell us the story.
Frozen.
I like stories.
Well, I say story. Vipa is the name of a Babylonian demon that takes the form of a mermaid. And I have an obsession with mermaids, but I got the name from a video game called Shadow Heart's Covenant. It's one of the items you can get is the crest of this demon, and it was the first video game I bought after I moved to Australia. And it was because I joined up to the local library, got out a video game magazine, saw that advertised, so I was like, oh, I'll have that. And then like a week later it came out in Australia. And it's just kind of been my username pretty much everywhere. I should change it. I should just use my name.
No, don't use your name.
Vipa? V-E-P-P?
V-E-P-A-R.
V-E-P-A-R. Or is it Vipa? Oh, there you are.
Yeah. What about yours, Nick, mate? Where does your Instagram name come from?
Well, it's a long story. I was traveling through.
How? No.
Let it go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Sorry, you were traveling through, or should we just?
Yeah, no, that's how the story ends.
That's a fascinating story. I was traveling through. Moving on. All right. Well, Sis, I think we have something else in there. You, Lady Radis.
Yes, Lady Radis.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love it.
Fantastic.
Unreal,
That's
wow.
amazing.
Unreal. Yeah.
Love that.
I was looking at old,
you-
fabric. Mum has a million of them. She's like kept them through her whole life, like fabric patterns. I just love the illustrations on top of them, and I got like that sort of vibe. And I just was looking at all these old pattern illustrations. It's gorgeous artwork, but yeah, that's where I got a couple of inspirations. And
Oh,
Grace
thank you so much.
Sorry?
So beautiful. I
That's
love it.
amazing.
It makes me want to use the word dame and talk like this. See?
Almost done, I think. Okay.
So, Angie, where can people find Courier? Because I've seen a few comments come through. Some people are just grabbed a copy. Other people are chasing it down. Where can we get it?
Have they? I didn't get the email. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, maybe. Well, there we go. Just picked up Angie's Courier one.
Oh, really? Yeah. I got Couriers in a few different comic book stores around Australia. So I like it if you go there, if they still have it. You can. I've got an online store as well on my website, so angiespice.net. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, did you?
Here's my finished one. Have a look
Ah.
at it. Well, it's not really
How could we
finished.
forget you,
Haven't
Dave.
quite finished.
Oh,
Ah,
the
sorry,
fight
Sis,
never boosted him.
Oh, look at the bag. So good.
Nice
love
work.
Very cool.
Killing
Dave.
as always, Dave.
Awesome, Dave.
Yeah, it's wicked.
It's nice to see the brush and ink because that's how I did the first one. I did a lot of brush and ink for the first Courier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even that first panel that I was talking about with the
No, because that's the prologue chapter. So that's
Right,
I did that
okay.
later. I did actually did the prologue after the third book, I should say. So I did that with nib and ink. That was
cool because it does actually have a different feel to it. Which
yeah.
I
I
thought
tried
kinda
a different thing. Yeah, I tried a different thing for each book.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do that too.
Oh, thank you all so much for doing such amazing art, and it's really good to see what everyone brings to the table because you get so stuck in your own style. It's just so refreshing to see different interpretations. It's really great. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Oh.
It's been long overdue. Have you
Yeah,
on the show
pleasure,
as another
Angie.
time.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, what do you reckon, Sis? We go into the last part of the show, and then during that, don't worry, Major.
Don't worry, Alex. We're going to do you after. Giving you some time. Giving you some time.
Find out who the hottest is. Well, so we can end on.
I think I was being too ambitious.
All right, let's do it, Sis.
Okay. Gotta find it.
Well,
Oh, shit.
we drank. This poor person is looking through the newspaper for info on what projects our artists have been working on. And this lost individual is using a map to find where she can follow our artists on social media and buy their books. How about we save them the trouble and just tell them? We call this next segment shameless self-promotion.
Oh,
Rob's not ready.
Is that underwear I see?
No. I planned to grab something during that theme song, and I couldn't get to it in time. Yeah.
Well, I'll start first anyway. Okay, so ComX at the moment, we have a Kickstarter going. Vivian Jones collected from Presents, and you can get that at this link, vivian.comx.studio. That'll take you to the Kickstarter. And yeah, just go over there, have a look at the different levels. I personally got the 3 books. Zach is selling them way too cheap, but it's good for me, so good for my budget. Over to you, Spedsy, if you're ready. No, you're not.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, jump in.
I plan on keeping it short. This week, Lee Chalker messaged me. He said, Nick, I'd like to get your book. What's your website? And I said, Lee Chalker, stop and go to comx.shop and pick up some of my friends' books. Go get some other stuff. Get the budgie books, but get some other stuff. Get some of Ed's works. Get some of Rob's. And I think he's done that. So ComX all the way. Someone else.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who has supported my Kickstarter so far. It became funded in 33 hours, which is nutso. I just want to show you that. So these 3 books, these ones, Devil's Toilet 3 is the we introduced Frederick Trelawney into the Spedsyverse and go on all kinds of hijinks. Jack the Ripper is involved, dragons, all kinds of good stuff. Sluggish, which is a book about a sad slug who swears his life is meaningless, has no story, and goes about trying to find a story. And then there's Vamoose 3, which brings together some awesome people like Chris Pitcairn, Dave Dye, Nick May, myself, and a laundry list of amazing people. And then I wanted to show you another book, but I couldn't find it in time, so I'll just show you a bunch of cool books I picked up. 13th Labour by Sean Keenan. I wish I'd done this earlier and got the guy's name. Jacob Pillington, we're going to have on the show soon. He's got a bunch of these cool zine books.
Oh, cool.
Queenie Chan will be on the show at some point. Spoke to her. Brad Daniels has been invited to join the show.
Yep.
And then this has a bunch of people: Oliver Brown, Stephen Koch. Yeah, all good books. Check them out at all good bookstores. I also have a stretch goal print thingy with Zach on Vivian Jones. So if you get it across the line, I get to draw a giraffe again. So get to it.
Do it.
Lady Radis.
Nice. Hey, I have a stretch goal on Spedsy's Kickstarter, which is The Devil's Toilet. If you haven't seen it yet or not, reach 1,500. You'll be able to snag a copy of that for yourself. Punch. In terms of me, find me at laurenmarshallart.com, the martial arts on Instagram, and I don't know, hit me up on Facebook if you want to have a yarn. Alex.
Oh, yep, thank you. So for everybody watching, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, and tell your friends. Videos. So make sure you get that. So then Sizzle can get all the hardcore fans coming that way, and then make sweet Google ad revenue. And other than that, I'm on Sloppy Bunny Tunes on Instagram and TikTok. I'm more active on TikTok than Instagram, but I'm on both things. Also on I think I'll post another comic soon on my webtoons. Also Sloppy Toons, and then also if you didn't back Sped this Kickstarter, I think you can still throw money at it. And then just leave him a comment that I want Vermoose 3 for 3 pages of Minor Bird hardcore action. Because there's my story has minor birds in it, and rowboats and robots. All kind of the one thing. And I'm sharing space with the man below me, also known as Chernobyl. Some people know him as Not So Quick Nick. Right. Different velocity, Nick.
Thanks, Alex. I can be found at Instagram at Chernobyl. When you're backing Rob's Kickstarter, don't make the mistake of ordering the Rob Lyle cover. You'd want to go for the Nick May cover. There's a competition going. I'm hoping that the Nick May cover will outsell Rob about. I'm aiming for, I think, 5.8 million copies of mine. So
nice.
What happens?
And 7 of Rob's.
It did outsell me on number 1, so he's winning so far.
I've also got a print for sale in ComX.shop that goes with the first presents. That'll probably do it for me. Over to Chris.
I've just done a children's fantasy comic with SK called Wolf Cubs. I think the Kickstarter's just been done, but people will be able to get their hands on that soon. And I also work a lot with NSK ComX. I do Fox and Hound with her. I did Hell Courtesan with her. They're, I think, both available online on her website. And we've got more projects coming out in the future, which I can't say anything about yet, because I'm under an NDA. Just if you want to keep an eye on what's coming out for me in the future, probably the best place to go is NSK ComX on Instagram, because she posts all the stuff that we do together. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. Awesome.
Katie.
I'm a hair away from finishing the first issue of Dark Heart with Ice Cream Productions. I'm so close to wrapping that up. I've been drawing that and drawing another thing that's NDA as well, which I can't talk about, which you will find out about soon enough if I can achieve this harrowing deadline that has been thrust upon me. That I just don't even exist right now. I've like put my kids to bed. I'm like, no, Mama. I'm never doing it again. Double deadline. So that will be. We'll find out about that later. But I'm super excited about Dark Heart, which is. I just got the color pages back, and it's beautiful. The colorist Justin Randall, who's part of Gestalt, is doing such lovely treatment on it, and it's always like Christmas when you get your pages back and someone else is coloring it. You're just like, ooh, good, you're making it look great. I don't have to worry now. And so Dark Heart's coming out. Yeah, you can find me on Katie Hollywood on Instagram, KatieHoughtonWard.com, my website, or Katie Hollywood on Facebook. Like Lauren, Lady Radis, you can hit me up and just go, hey, what's up? And we can talk comics.
And UFC as well.
What?
UFC and mixed martial arts, right? Some
I actually, my real name is Katie Houghton Ward, and most of my art career has been under Katie Houghton Ward. So like, if you Google me, it comes up under Katie Houghton Ward. But Frank Cho gave me the name Katie Hollywood because he couldn't pronounce my last name. So like it kind of stuck, because we're like, when Frank Cho says, "Oh, that's your name now," you kind of go, Yeah, it is. Thank you. Yes, it is. And you can leave. So it's Katie Houghton Ward on if you want to Google my previous art stuff, and Katie Hollywood on my current social media. Thanks for having me again.
Oh, yeah. Come back again.
Definitely.
My stuff is on Amazing Tales is where you find I've got a Facebook page, and that's the title of it up there, Amazing Tales. I'm working on comics. I've just inked page 10.
Oh, sweet.
Just finished page 10 today.
Oh, it's looking awesome.
Yeah, look at those.
So that's got another 7 pages to ink, and then I'll be able to finish that one. But the one I want to talk about is this one that I haven't actually got, but that's the cover page for it.
Whoa, very nice.
Whoa.
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, put on the spreadsheet. That's
What a
with
segue.
Is that gouache?
Watercolor.
Oh, watercolor, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice one, Svetty.
Thanks, Spedzi. Yeah, and appreciate. Actually, I haven't got it for sale. You'll find it on the Owner Indie site under Roger Stitson because he's the author.
Oh, yeah.
He's the writer. So get a hold of that if you can. It should be good. Yeah, that's about all I've got, I think, to tell you. So over to Angie. See, I practiced. I'm pointing the right way.
Nice one, Dave.
No, I did it wrong.
What?
No, I was like going to nail it on the first go, and I fucking did it wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, like I said before, just my website. But I've got a free comic that's free to read on Webtoon. So if you want to check it out, it's called a HOBART Rhapsody on Webtoon. It's updating once a week. So yeah, check it out.
Sweet.
All my other comics you can order online at angiespice.net. Yeah, that's about it, really.
Angie, thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming on the show and
That's amazing.
No.
That's so good.
Wow. Yes, thank you so much for coming on the show and taking us through your journey. It's been awesome. You're an awesome artist to have on the show, and now an awesome guest. Now, one thing we like to do on the show each week is find out who is the hottest person in Australian comics. So this week, without further ado, let us find out. Thanks to Alex Major. Sizzle, press the button. Oh, yeah. Oh, I keep that.
Yes.
So good.
That's really good.
Ready to fight.
I keep forgetting it's been changed now to the hottest character in Australian comics.
Yeah, the hottest
That's
character.
cool.
Every week.
What a ripper.
That's awesome.
Well done, Alex. As
Nice
usual.
work, great.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
Everybody in the room, and thank you, everybody watching at home.
Yep.
If you would like to send in any artwork, please do so. Art
we'll
at
chat next week.
comex.net.au. You can send in your Geraldine Barkers, your Detective Budgies, whatever you want to send. Even your own characters. We'll show it. We'll talk about it. If you're a creator, come join us. And until next week, eat your prayers and say your vitamins.
Well, we drank, we drew, we talked nonsense. Now it's time to say goodbye. Don't cry, dry your eye, for there are many cool comics you can buy. ComX.shop is full comics from a bunch of the creators you just watched. Amazing Tales by Dave Dye. The Devil's Toilet by Spedzi. ComX Presents featuring Ed Kearsley, Tony Manzi, Duncan Pranavicius, Peter Wilson, Lee Chalker, Zach George, and so much more. The list is longer than this outro. See you next Friday for more drinking and drawing. Alright Sizzle, press the button. Sizzle? Sizzle, press the damn button. Sizzle you turkey, press the goddamn button. What are you waiting for? Sizzle, don't make me come over there